All right, everybody, we have a very special day all the way directly from Costa Rica. We have Shalece Daniels. Welcome.
Thank you, Mary. It's good to be here.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for the gorgeous view already. This is just like, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, so we do not have this view. Although we have sun today, which is a huge deal.
Good.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing your time with us. You wear a lot of hats, ma'am, right? So you are a business owner, a business coach, a retreat organizer, an author. Let's start with business coach. So tell us
Yeah.
about that.
I started business coaching in 2021
Okay.
for people who wanted to invest in real estate in the city of Detroit because that's the business that I own that
Okay.
now runs itself. And
Amazing.
in 2022, I started doing more general business coaching because many of the people that came to me also had a business. Much of the income that they used to invest in properties came from this other business. And because I've been in business for 20 years, plus or minus, and grew that business to seven figures when I decided to rest, and they'll hear more about that, I was able to give really good insight and information into how I was able to do that. And so I transitioned or pivoted more into that business coaching, general business coaching for women as opposed to just investing. My coaching philosophy, if you allow me to talk a little bit about
Please.
that, is
Please.
based on resting. And the way that I choose to rest is through travel, which is why I spend a large majority of my time in Costa Rica.
Well, that's where you're coming from, huh? That's
It
Costa
is.
Rica. Yes.
That is.
Gorgeous. I've never been, so I'm going to have to think about attending one of your retreats so
Oh,
I
yeah.
can
Oh, yeah.
please experience Costa Rica with somebody who knows it. Okay. So, and that's interesting. So then like what kind of give us a story of somebody maybe that started working with you as and then learned about business because you're so experienced with it. Like give us a little story if you
Awesome.
can. Yeah.
Yes. There is one client that went, when I started working with her, she's actually a private money lender.
Okay.
And when I started working with her, uh, she was at one level and she was wearing most of the hats.
Okay.
And she had someone that was contracted with her to do some sales. Well, we worked for 12 weeks or 3 months. And over the 12 weeks, she increased her income by $20,000 a month. She increased her income by $20,000 a month. She made one adjustment, delegated. And so we talk a lot about in my coaching how to put the business instruction manual in place and delegate. And in those systems, your people, you wrap your people into your system, and then you're able to run a business, not own a job. And many of us high earners are still owning a job as opposed to running a business. So I'm very proud of Talisa. That's the person that was able
Yeah.
to accomplish that.
Oh, love it. Okay, so systems are the key. Yes. Okay, so
Absolutely.
then, yeah, share with us your experience. Like, what makes you now also encourage folks with rest and host retreats? Why is that important to you as a
I'm going to
business owner?
try, Mary, I'm going to try not to blab on, but please feel free to interject because that's a question that I get very passionate about. And I'll
Yeah.
have your audience know, like, you didn't send me any pre-questions because I may have been more concise. If
No, no, no,
if
no.
I
We love it. I love
okay,
it. No, we're brain
so
lovers. So this is Brain Fresh, and we love brains, and we know brains need rest. And so
oh,
I love to talk to people, and personally, I love travel. So I'm always like planning my next trip when I'm on my trip. So I'm all about everything you're talking about. So go ahead,
okay. So I'm gonna try to do this in such a way that I'm not too brief, so I miss it, and I'm not
please.
too long-winded because that's my automatic. So we're
Okay.
clear. Um,
Okay.
in 2020, I suffered from cabin fever,
Okay.
amongst other things, okay, that
Mm-hmm.
2020 brought. I
Mm-hmm.
scheduled a 3-week vacation in December to come to Costa Rica, and I went to the Pacific side. This 3-week vacation, I took excursions to different parts of the country, but never went to the Caribbean side, Southern Caribbean side.
Okay.
Everywhere I went, I would say, "Where's the good food? Like, how can I get the good food that I've heard about, but I'm
Right.
not really experiencing it?" And everyone say, "Oh, that's on the Caribbean side. That's
Mhm.
on the Caribbean side." I started Googling. And I saw that that was the food, the music, the people, but that it's dangerous, so be careful.
Oh, okay.
So I was afraid to come over to the Caribbean side.
Mm-hmm.
But at that 3 weeks, when it was time to go to the airport, I was not ready. I extended my trip by a week and I drove 5 hours over to the Caribbean side. Once I got here, I came in at like dusk, which is around 5 o'clock, 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
And the rhythm of the town, the people, the smells. There's these charcoal grills that's on every corner, and they're cooking this food at night, every night. They're pick a night.
Right.
This is what
It's
happens
like a
here.
constant
There's
party. Right.
music. Oh, there's music and there's dancing. People and fire throwers were in the street. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, really? This is a hidden gem. This belongs to me. So I drove slowly because you can only drive slowly as you're competing with bikes and people walking
Right.
and the fire throwers in the street performing. Drove
I love it.
slowly to my hotel and I was hooked. Well, I had only scheduled 7 days and I was bringing in the new year here. And within 7 days, I met a couple and they said, well, you can do anything for 30 days. And I thought to myself, like, wow, this thing that my brain limited me at thinking that it was not available. I wasn't available to run my time or to rest, or it needed to look a certain way, began to open up by something that one random stranger said to me on the beach. Okay. So I thought about it. That's where the seed was planted, and I flew home. I flew home on January 6th. And in the United States, we have some things happening on January 6th. When I got there, I took all my stuff out of my suitcase, I washed it, and I scheduled a plane to leave the very next day. There was a flight out to go back to
Stop
Costa
it.
Rica.
Oh my God, hilarious.
I was homeless at that point, didn't have anywhere to stay or anything. But by the time I touched down, I had a 30-day lease, and I had a rented car. And so it all began with those first 30 days.
Love. And what was your experience there during that 30 days of being in a
Um,
new environment? And
A little bit of it. It took about a week or a week and a half to really believe that I was here and to get grounded. It is
mm-hmm,
scary.
mm-hmm,
It's a scary place going anywhere and being alone.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And it took about a week for me to decompress with
mm-hmm.
the events that were happening and also with my normal everyday schedule. Because in Costa Rica, you talk about Caribbean time, they're on Pura Vida time. Okay. And they don't know what day it is and they don't know what time it is many times. And so it took a minute to become acclimated. But after about a week and a half, a good 10 days, 12 days, I didn't know what day it was either. I'd
Mm-hmm.
have to think about that. So my days were filled with the beach, with going to the beach first thing in the morning. My days were filled
Ah,
with meeting people and going to different events and being invited to homes and eating and eating and eating. Did I say eating?
sounds like it. Yes. And fire throwers. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Amazing. And what did you find with your business? Just like changing locations and taking time away?
So I own a property management, a hands-on brick and mortar property management business. And I had to put some parameters in place to leave for those 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that I had to optimize my systems. When I got back, or the time that I was in communication, some things broke, but not too
Mm-hmm.
much. It was
Mm-hmm.
doable. So I understood that with my hands off, things could actually run without me. Then I optimized the things that needed to be optimized without me being there because, Mary, sometimes I don't have electricity. Sometimes I don't have internet. I'm in the developing part of Costa Rica,
Right,
okay? And
right.
that's why I love it.
No guarantees. Okay.
And I mean, the saying that I use is like electricity goes out, that's God trying to tell me to go to the beach.
Right. Just go outside. I was gonna say no guarantees for that, but yeah,
I was like,
guarantees for like beautiful environment, it looks like. My little peak.
it is.
Ah,
So I put more parameters in place and I started to develop these systems and I optimized my standard operating procedures and turned that into a business instruction manual that was interactive. It had all these hyperlinks that you could click and these hype
nice.
videos as to why you should be doing it this way and so on and thus and such.
Nice.
And I became an away from home business owner. Much to my surprise, 5 months later, it was still running without me. and we were increasing in sales and in profit margin. Here's why. Can I go? Can I go on? Or did you have another? Okay. Here's why, Mary. What I realized at that point is I was able to see outside of the business. I stopped doing home visits. I stopped doing inspections and talking to contractors one-on-one and knowing that I needed to touch this thing to see if it was done right. It ceased. And I was able to bring my head up, to relax, and then see things from where I should have as a CEO, right? And see them and make changes on that level, systemic changes to processes and procedures. And that's how my business grew. It wasn't necessarily about sales increasing. It was about partnering. It was about, hey, why don't